Hey, it's Ubu, and today we're playing a game called Not Like Them, a horror experience. It's developed by XX Vipe, and you can find the game on itch.io. This developer recently reached out to me through email and asked me to play their game, and I'm happy to oblige. And if you're not familiar with my channel, at the end of the video, I will review the game, share my general thoughts, give it my final judgment, and I will have timestamps in the description. Also, if you enjoy what I do here today and want to support the channel, hit subscribe, leave a like, comment, and share the video. I'd greatly appreciate that. Now let me tell you about the game, and we'll get started. You come home late. They are awake. They don't look at you the same way. They say the right words, but something behind their eyes is gone. That night you hear something downstairs, but what you see through the kitchen door will change everything. Now that you know what the game is about, we'll go ahead and hit play and see what's up. So, play game. Oh. Main menu is oddly quiet, so... Oh my gosh. Mother, why are you late again? Do you know what time it is? Oh. I was just... This is the last time you go out at night. Now go to your room. Alright. Jeez, dude. Where's my room? Interesting aspect ratio for sure. This looks like a hidden wall. A hidden door, rather. I can see the lines. Oh, why is there wood on their door? I don't know, that is pretty weird. What is this? Whoa. Why are they treating me like this lately? I don't know what I even did. Okay, I already can tell something I'm definitely going to be talking about at the end of the video, but anyways. This text noise is a little extreme. They're just different. It's like I don't know them anymore. The way they talk. Something's not right. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I just need to sleep. Boy. What are they doing awake at this hour? What was that? It was so loud. Is it raining? I think we got a leaky roof. I hear munching. It's really gross, whatever that noise is. Okay. Ugh, God. Adam. You're awake. Come in, come in. We were just having a late dinner. Do you want some? No, don't worry, I'm good. What is that? Son, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Good, now you should go to sleep, Adam. Tomorrow is important. Important how? Go to your room. We have things to prepare. We'll be back before you wake up. Okay, weirdo. I like her stance. Looks like she's about to quick draw on us. Like in the Wild West. Draw. If you don't do what I say, son, I will duel you to the death. Meet me in the middle of town. High noon. Whoa. That was pretty cool. Tomorrow is important. What does that mean? What are they preparing? Missing some punctuation there. I have until they come back. Whatever is happening tomorrow I need to know what it is tonight. This is my only chance. Yep, off to do a ritual, yes. Find something that explains this. We have 13, 14 minutes. It will be back soon. How do we know exactly how long they'll be gone? Oh well. Can I sprint? Holding shift makes me stop moving. It's like an anti-sprint. It's interesting. Let's look around. I actually don't know what the interact button is, so I'm just kind of hitting buttons. Okay, left click. Look. Box. I can't open. Toilet. I can stand on. Uh-oh. Alright, let's look around the room. Some wine. Decorative wine. A big key. Let me get that. Let me get that. Come on. Let me get the big key. Okay. Oh, I clicked on the book. Study, mirror, become. The host must remain alive until dawn. The skin holds for 3 days maximum. The ritual is incomplete until the witness is removed. Okay. Subject observation notes. Wakes between 10 p.m. and midnight on Fridays. Removes shoes at the door. Does not eat breakfast. Coffee only. Responds to raised voices by going quiet. Does not fight back. No close friends who visit the house. Nobody will look for him quickly. Study, mirror, become. Okay, so they're like mimics. Acquisition. I'm hearing doors and stuff opening and closing. I don't know what that is. Acquisition complete. 3 days since replacement. The subject has shown no signs of awareness. Integration is stable. The skin holds. You must not enter the bedroom. The hosts are stored in the wardrobe. The skin must be preserved until dawn. He asked about us tonight. We gave the correct responses. He suspects nothing. The cycle closes at dawn. We have waited through 3 hosts for this bloodline. We will not fail again. He is already ours. We do not hate, we simply need. The skin fades, it always fades, and when it does, we find the next one. We have always found the next one. There is no fight you can win. There is no door we cannot open. There is no face we cannot wear. We are everywhere. We are everyone. You have ever known. You will ever know. Because we are perfect. Because we are patient. Because we are already there. That was pretty cool. 3 days. They replaced them 3 days ago. The door. The wood on their door. Their bedroom. The piece of wood. Can I get this key now? No. Okay. I like how that was written. That was pretty cool. It's like a book we would find in, like, Oblivion or something. Let's get it. I need something strong to break this quickly. A hammer. There has to be a hammer somewhere. Okay, there was a toolbox in the bathroom. So, let's go try that. Bad we can't sprint. What am I hearing? Scared. I think we're making good time. Alright, this will work. Break the wood on the door. We're gonna break that stuff so good. Whatever that means. I made my camera bigger. I hope it doesn't look bad. Random thought, but just wanted to let you know. Now you can see my beautiful green eyes. Finally! Locked. Are you serious? I wasted all this time and it's locked? The key. There has to be a key somewhere. Alright, we know where the key is. Let's go. Let's get it. Is that what people say nowadays? Let's get it. Got it. Got him. We got the big rusty key. The time mechanic is interesting for sure. That's a bit of tension. Open the door. Come on, come on. We Find out what they were doing. Okay, we have another note. They didn't want me to read this. My parents. Where are my parents? We are not what you see. We wear the skin of those who came before. We study them. We learn them. We become them. We have walked among you for centuries. In your homes, at your tables, in your beds. Pretty scary thought, actually. Find them. Also, it's kind of weird that they would just kind of write all this... Dear God. What? What is that? Those look like... No. No, no, no. I need to check. I need to see. Do you see what I see? It's funny they would write all these things down for you to find. Oh my God, those are our parents. Mom. Dad. I was right here. I was right here the whole time. And I didn't know. Sorry. I will kill those skin-stealing monsters myself. Leave. Leave now. Okay, let's go. I like the, back rooms, yellow walls. That's kind of cool. That's what makes it... That's what makes me think of, at least. That's what makes me think of. Words. Into the rain, let's go. They definitely stand weird. They don't have that down right. Whoa. He's looking for us. Cool change of perspective there through the house like this. Ew. That's messed up, dude. Adam runs out of the house into the rain. Okay, I skip it. Okay. Neighbor's house. Pounds on the door. An old woman opens it. Oh no, what if she's one of them? He says one sentence. Call the police. Something is wrong in my house. What if they're police or the monsters? She looks at his face. She calls. Oh, you reached the end, or at least that's what you think. If you want this story to continue, you can support the creation of Chapter 2. Every bit of support brings the next nightmare closer. This game was created entirely alone. Every script, every scene, every sound, one person, no team, no budget. The 3D models were sourced from Sketchfab and Fab. The sound effects were sourced from freesound.org and zapsplat.com. It's not over. It never was. Thank you for playing. You're welcome. Alright, well now I'm back on the main menu where I will review this game and share my general thoughts. If you're just here for the gameplay, I appreciate you hanging out and I hope to see you again. I also want to say I appreciate you taking the time to give us a little message there at the end, telling us a little bit about yourself and your process and what you're capable of doing at the time being. Being a solo developer, I know that's not easy, but I appreciate you still going out of your way to at least make something to show people and at least give a first impression. So I think that's great. Now, as usual, I'll talk about the visuals first. And I would say visually the game is okay. I don't mind the main menu here. It's kind of ominous and kind of weird. It's just dead silent, which I find strange, but I don't mind the first impression it gives. It's, like I said, very odd and very ominous, and I think it's an all right first impression. Now, actually, in-game, I think the VHS sort of noise filter that you have is maybe a little too strong, at least in my opinion. I am very sensitive to that kind of stuff. I'm kind of critical of that. VHS filters are really easy to overdo, in my opinion. It's just kind of rough to look at, but I wouldn't say this is necessarily bad. I just think it might be just a little too intense. Otherwise, I like how the house looks. I like how the characters look. They have almost like a low detail sort of appearance, but, you know, it lets my mind kind of fill in the blanks a little bit, you know, how they look and everything. And I think it's an interesting approach for sure. I also like that the text is easy to read and the general appeal of the house and the the sort of the vibe it gives off with its layout, I think is pretty effective. I don't really have much else to say about the visuals. I'm usually pretty easygoing in terms of visuals in my reviews, but like I said, the VHS noise filter sort of thing you got going on, it's just a little too intense, and that's really my only big critique of the visuals. Now, in terms of audio, the first thing that really stood out to me was just how dead quiet the main menu is. I think going forward, having a little bit of ambience or some kind of tone to at least, spark some interest to the player of, the tone that they can expect, give some sort of an impression of, some dread or some mystery or whatever tone you're going for in the game at the time. I think having a little bit of that going on in the main menu goes a long ways. Now, my biggest critique with the audio and probably the game as a whole is the sound that the text makes as it appears on screen. Now, if you're not familiar with my channel in general, I'm very critical of that in games that I play. I played a lot of games that make like weird vocal noises or very loud typing noises or whatever they may be. Really loud noise associated with the text appearing on screen for me is a big turnoff. It's just a little too harsh, a little too loud. I don't think having the noise itself is an issue. It's just how loud it is. Because I found myself trying to like read over the noise as the text appeared, and it just, I don't know, it's just a little bit too much going on there. But going forward, if you want to add some kind of noise for the text appearing on screen, I would really tone it down like as quiet as you can make it. I think it being subtle is an effective way to do it, but as it stands now, it's just a little too loud, a little too harsh for me personally. Otherwise, I like the rain ambience and the lightning and the thunder and stuff you got going on. I thought that sounded really good. I really liked that, how it added to the overall tone of the game and just made it that much more eerie. I thought that was really effective, so great job there. Also, as we hear our fake parents eating in the kitchen or dining room like monsters and just eating stuff off the floor, the munching and squelching and stuff, I thought that was very appropriate for the scene at the time, so I thought that worked well. And of course, you have sounds like our footsteps and things like that. I wish there was maybe a little bit more ambience and music used throughout to accentuate the scenes that are happening at the time, like discovering our parents and whatnot. And maybe that did happen, but I just didn't quite catch it. But I think that helps sort of the pacing of the overall atmosphere and tone of the game. When you're able to pair and associate noise with the scene and also what we're doing in the game. And it doesn't have to be over the top or anything like that, like discovering our parents. It doesn't have to be this loud, crazy musical sting, like obviously it's a bad thing that we're witnessing, but having something associated with that still, I think, would elevate the experience. Because I look at it as though, as the player, I'm visually experiencing the game. So I know what you're trying to convey. But music and ambience, I think, like I said already, really does help elevate the experience, really compounds upon the overall feeling of the game. So going forward, I would try to experiment with that a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't have to be over the top or anything crazy like that, but just a little subtle detail of music and ambience throughout when it's appropriate, I think will work very well for you. Like I've said in many of my reviews, and I do believe this, that the lack of music and the lack of noise is also just as effective when used appropriately. Now, in the main menu, I wouldn't say that's an appropriate use of silence. However, as we're walking through the house and trying to discover things, having some quiet throughout a game can build tension when it's appropriate. Like I said, you just have to experiment a little bit and use it appropriately. So while you have good bones for the audio, I would just say it's okay across the board. Now, in terms of mechanics, I would say the game is pretty straightforward. You basically have to complete a series of tasks to progress the game, such as going to bed or searching through the house for key items to discover what's really going on with our fake parents, which I think worked pretty well. It doesn't need to be over the top or anything for such a short runtime. I think short and sweet and to the point is a great approach, especially for something that you're just getting into and experimenting with and getting into the game development scene. I think kind of starting small is a good idea, and that way you can sort of get some impressions and some ideas and reviews as you go, and you can mold your vision into a more cohesive manner. So it just takes some time and practice, and I think your approach to the mechanics is a good way to go about that, and I think they're totally fine. I found the time mechanic interesting, where you have a time limit to search through the house to discover the truth behind your fake parents, which I'll keep calling them that. I like the time mechanic also not being too tight where you had enough time to even read the notes and things that you're discovering. But I think that it was an interesting approach to add a little bit of tension to the game where you have to find these things before it's too late. And I thought that was an all right way to go about building tension. So I would say that was totally acceptable. And mechanically, while the game is very simplistic, I still think it's a good starting point, like I said, and you did a fine job with it. I especially enjoyed the notes too. I usually don't like notes in games, but I think the way you wrote them and the way they conveyed enough information to what's really going on, I think worked really well. I would say the mechanics are totally fine and a really great start. Now, in terms of story and concept, I quite like the story that was at least conveyed in some manner through the notes. The very direct way that these things spoke in the notes about how they've always been here, they will always be here, they're perfect, and whatnot, I thought was just very ominous and very disturbing in a way, because it makes you think about how you just can't trust anyone after discovering this information. And I think that builds upon a very like cosmic horror sort of situation. And I thought it was presented really well. While it was very simple and, you know, surface level to begin with, I thought it worked really well at building up this odd feeling that these weird mimics can convey. So I would say the story has a really solid first impression, and it hooked me in, which is really important. You want to hook people in, even if you haven't told them everything quite yet. Me wanting to know more and to experience more is definitely a positive. So great job with the story. And now in terms of the overall concept of the game, I like the concept revolving around us experiencing a potential revelation of there being some kind of invasion or some entity or beings that have lived among us for centuries, and we just haven't really noticed it until now. So very cool concept there. Like I said, it is leaning on some cosmic horror ideas that I quite like. And like I said, it creates this sense of dread and unease, and just you can't trust anyone around you. And you know, discovering that his parents have been killed and then mimicked by these things is really screwed up and really sad, and us escaping and trying to, I guess, build upon more of that later on, I think has a lot of potential. So great job with the story and the concept all the way around. Now, in terms of performance and settings, I would say the game performed totally fine. I have no issues with that whatsoever. I forgot to mention this earlier though with the visuals. As I'm walking around, I can see like seams in the walls where I assume when you're modeling the house and putting everything together, it didn't quite snap together very well, and that was a little distracting. Just in general, it's not the end of the world. You can fine tune that and sort of polish that up a little bit as you go forward, but I just wanted to bring that up because I think I forgot to mention that, so my bad. Otherwise, the performance is totally fine. I had no issues with it whatsoever, no bugs or anything, so that's great. And I didn't notice any settings, and I don't believe there are any in game as well, and I think that's okay. Like you mentioned, you're just one person doing this. You're just starting out, and I wouldn't necessarily stress yourself with the settings and getting overwhelmed with that quite yet. Now, if the audio mixing and everything was just absolutely terrible and the performance was terrible, I'd be a lot more harsh about the lack of settings. However, like I said, I think its presentation was fine. It's clearly well crafted enough to give us a complete experience, and I appreciate that. Once you're able to fine tune everything, get your vision sort of together, and you're in a comfortable position to start doing settings and things like that, keep it simple, like I said, to begin with. Add some audio options, subtitle options, stuff like that. And then you can go on from there once you're really, you know, got the ball rolling. So like I said, don't stress about it too much, but just keep that in mind. So my final judgment for Not Like Them, a horror experience, is I would say it's good. I think it's a good game. I had a good time with it. I think especially with the story and the first impression it made with that was a really good start. And while I was critical about its visual presentation with the noise filter and also the audio having such loud noise associated with the text appearing on screen, I still think this is a really solid first impression. The game has good bones. And as you go into the next parts and continue to develop this game and this vision of yours, I think you're going to do just fine with it. So hopefully what I said today makes sense and you're able to take some of what I said and apply that to your vision in some manner of speaking. Of course, with my reviews, I'm never trying to directly tell a developer what to do. Just want to give you some ideas to experiment with and to help mold your vision and maybe give you an idea about something you never really thought about. And it's just to suggest things, that's all. And I hope what I said today is helpful to you. Thanks again for reaching out and asking me to play your game. I really appreciate the opportunity. And as you go forward and develop more games, you know how to reach me. Feel free to reach out again for me to play something else. I'd be happy to. I wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors and your work. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this game? Do you agree or disagree with me? Do you have anything to add? Do you just want to say hi? Let me know what's up. Don't forget to check the pinned comment below for the links to everything and go play this game for yourself and form your own opinion. I'm sure the developer would really appreciate your feedback as well as mine. And if you'd like to support my channel, hit subscribe, leave a like, comment, and share the video. And I'll also have links to my socials in the description if that interests you. I thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I think that's all I have to say about it. So thanks for hanging out with me. But don't forget.